Well, good morning, guys. It's Pastor Andy. Today's Monday, July 13th, and we're going through Psalm 119 together. And today we're looking at verse 49 down to verse 56. This section of Psalm 119 has to do with memory. And I know a lot of us struggle with memory. I struggle with my memory. I will, especially if people tell me something on Sunday, I totally lose it because my mind is going a million different directions. So what I have to do is write things down so I remember, or have people text me or write me a note or things like that to help me remember. I live my life on my iPad, which gives me a breakdown of my life in 30-minute intervals. So I have to be that organized or I forget things. So I live my life 30 minutes at a time to help me remember what I need to get done and what needs to happen. But here, if you look at the first verse here, verse 49, it says, "Remember your promises to me. It's my only hope. Your promises revive me. It comforts me in all my trouble. The proud hold me in utter contempt, but I do not turn away from your instructions." Here we have God remembering his people, and then the next section we see his people remember his word, and then the last section in this section talks about his people remembering his name. But as I was thinking about this and reading this section this morning and pondering on it, I thought God remembers us and God cares about us. He doesn't forget about us. Even though times it may feel like he has forgotten us, he never has. He's promised he'd never leave us and never forsake us. He'll always be there for us. So even in the dark times, in the bad times, when I think, oh God, where are you? Did you forget about me? I feel lost out here. Can you just help me? I remember that he remembers me. He doesn't forget about me. He knows everything and he's always there. And then as I was going through this, there was a verse that just jumped out of the page at me. And that's verse 53. It says, "I become furious with the wicked because they reject your instructions." Man, how many times do we hold people who are not Christians, who are not believers, to the same standards that we hold Christians to? You know, I think about this. So many places and churches and Christians boycott this company or that company or the other company. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. What I'm saying is we can't expect non-believers and non-Christian companies to act like believers and Christian companies because they're not. So I can't hold them to a standard. I can't hold someone who is not a Christian to the standard of someone who is a Christian because they don't know. I can't expect someone to do something they don't know to do. I can't expect them to act in a way that is against their character that they don't know any better. So as I was thinking about this, I thought, man, here instead of showing hatred and saying, you know what, I'm going to boycott this, that, or the other, and I'm going to post it all over the internet that I'm not going to support this company. Well, you know what, if you knew the truth about every company, we couldn't shop anywhere or spend our money anywhere. But that's beside the point. Instead of spreading hate and showing that we as Christians are intolerant and don't have love in our life, and all we're doing is proving the stigma that many Christians have in the eyes of other people. So instead of saying, I hate this company, I'm not going to support them, they'll never get my dollars, if you feel like you need to vote with your money and vote with your shopping, then that's fine. You do that. You follow your conscience. But I can tell you, I'm not going to be posting all over the internet that I am not endorsing this company, that company, or the other. Because number one, my opinion really doesn't matter. Nobody cares what I think. But two, I want people not to see hate coming out of a Christian, but love. Now, I'm not going to say I love these companies for doing these things, but I'm definitely not going to show hate towards people. I'm not going to expect unbelievers and non-Christians to act like believers and Christians. Same's true with our neighbors. The same's true with people that we work with. The same is true with our family that are not followers of Jesus. We can't expect them and hold them to the same standards that we as believers should be held to and should be following. So we should show the love of Christ. The world will know that we are Christians by our love one for another. Not because we take a stand for this, that, or the other. Not because we're always right. Because it doesn't matter whether we're right or not. The most important thing is that we love one another. Jesus was asked, what are the two most important commandments? It wasn't that we take a stand for right. It wasn't that we live this way, do that, whatever. No, Jesus said the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. And on these two hang all the law and the prophets. So if I get these two pegs right, these two coat hooks right, everything else hangs on those. Everything else will take care of themselves if I get these two right, if I love God and if I love others. And sometimes that's tough because we may not always agree, but we can disagree agreeably and not show hate, but show the love of Christ to a world that needs to see the love of Jesus Christ, especially today. So I hope you're getting God's Word, see what God has for you in this section. And until tomorrow, God bless you and have a great day.